At 2 in the morning, outside the home office door, I saw Daniel and that woman intertwined. She was sitting on his lap, her arms wrapped around his neck, their eyes locked in a gaze so intense it seemed to stretch and cling. My friends all said, "Don't worry, Stella is gay, she wouldn't steal your husband." Daniel had also sworn, "She likes women, we just have a platonic friendship, don't overthink it." But would a gay woman sit on another woman's husband's lap in a silk camisole at 2 in the morning? Would she nuzzle her face into the curve of his neck? Would she allow a married man's hand to linger on her waist? In that moment, 5 years of marriage, 10 years of a relationship, along with all the love and trust, completely collapsed. I quietly closed the door. The next morning, I was gone. But went crazy. "Didn't you say you'd trust me forever? Why won't you listen to my explanation?" The image was branded onto my retina like a hot iron. Under the dim desk lamp, Daniel sat in the home office's leather chair, and Stella, the gal pal who claimed to only like women, was perched on his lap in an incredibly intimate pose. She wore a black silk camisole with only matching shorts, her long legs brazenly wrapped around him. Their faces were so close they could feel each other's breath. His hand rested on her slender waist, fingertips subtly caressing. Her arms were wrapped around his neck, and she clung to him like a koala, her face buried in the curve of his neck, her long hair spilling across his chest. What choked me most was their gaze. That lingering intimacy, that uncontrollable passion, that tension as if they were about to kiss the next second. Their connection was sickeningly palpable, like stretching taffy, making my stomach churn. I stood at the doorway, my hand still in the motion of pushing the door open, but I felt utterly hollowed out, as if my soul had been drained. So this is how betrayal strikes, so suddenly. And this is how trust shatters, so completely. Slowly, ever so slowly, I backed away, gently closing the door. Lost in their own world, they never noticed me. Back in the bedroom, I sat on the edge of the bed, my hands trembling uncontrollably. 5 years. We had been married for 5 years, together for 10. From college until now, I had given him the best years of my youth. And him? He had trampled my trust into worthlessness. I didn't rush in to confront them, didn't make a scene, didn't even shed a single tear. Perhaps I was too shocked, or perhaps too disappointed. I simply mechanically packed a few clothes, grabbed my ID and bank cards, and silently left that home. The streets were empty at 3 in the morning as I dragged my suitcase, walking aimlessly. 10 years of a relationship. I still remembered how he pursued me in college, waiting for me every day outside the women's dorm, rain or shine, always with a hot tea in his hand. I remembered his nervousness the first time he said he loved me, his face flushed like a high schooler's, stammering for what felt like an eternity before he managed those 3 words. I remembered the day he proposed, kneeling before the entire student body and faculty, his eyes full of sincerity, "Marry me, I'll love you for my whole life." But now? All those vows and promises, all those sweet nothings, had become the cruelest irony. My phone vibrated frantically in my bag. I knew it was him. He'd probably finally realized I was gone. I didn't answer, just turned it off. I didn't want to hear his explanations, didn't want to hear his excuses. Any explanation would seem pale and powerless in the face of that image. I hailed a cab on the street and went to a hotel downtown. When I checked in, the front desk clerk gave me a concerned look, likely noticing my exhaustion. "Ma'am, are you all right? Do you need any help?" I forced a smile. "Thank you, I'm fine." Fine? How could I possibly be fine? But what else could I say besides that I was fine? Should I tell her I'd just Daniel and his lesbian best friend in an embrace? That my marriage had fallen apart overnight? That I'd been played for a fool for so long? Lying on the unfamiliar bed, I started to recall all the signs from the past few months. Stella had appeared 3 months ago. That day, Daniel brought her home, introducing her as a college friend who had just returned from overseas and temporarily had nowhere to stay. "Honey, Stella's run into some trouble recently, can she stay at our place for a few days?" I looked at the woman before me, delicate features, a stunning figure, long wavy hair, exuding the allure of a mature woman. Honestly, any wife would feel a surge of alarm seeing a woman like that about to move into her home. But's next words dispelled my concerns. "Don't worry, Stella likes girls, she's gay." Stella also smiled and said, "Don't get the wrong idea, Chloe, I'm not interested in men. Daniel is like a big brother to me." I actually believed them then. Believed such a pathetic lie. After she moved in, she indeed acted very appropriately. She'd voluntarily help me with housework, buy me gifts to butter me up, and even posted updates on social media with photos of her and her girlfriend. Everyone told me I was overthinking it. Stella already has a girlfriend, what are you worried about? She's gay, your husband's charm won't do anything. You're just too sensitive, you need to trust your husband. Yes, I was too sensitive. Sensitive enough to notice she always sought out Daniel when I wasn't around. Sensitive enough to notice her clothes were particularly revealing when she was with Daniel. Sensitive enough to notice Daniel's gaze at her was off. But every time I wanted to say something, Daniel would get impatient. Can't you stop being so petty? She's gay, what more do you want? If I were interested in her, would I bring her home right in front of you? You're exhausting me like this. Do we not even have basic trust between us? Trust. He always used trust to shut me up. And I always chose to believe him again and again. Until tonight, when I saw that scene. Dawn broke. I sat by the window, watching the city, both familiar and strange, slowly awaken. It was time to make a decision. I turned on my phone to find hundreds of missed calls, all from Daniel. And countless messages. Honey, where are you? Come home. You misunderstood, it's not what you think. Stella was just drunk, nothing happened. Please believe me, after 10 years together, don't you know me? Please, answer the phone, let me explain. I scoffed. Explain? Explain why she was dressed like that, sitting on your lap in the middle of the night? Explain why your hand was on her waist? Explain why you were looking at each other with those eyes? There was nothing to explain. Just then, the phone rang again. This time, it was my mom. Chloe, Daniel called me first thing this morning, said you two had an argument. Child, why can't you talk things out? Running away from home in the middle of the night, what's that supposed to solve? Daniel is going crazy with worry, you should go back. I took a deep breath. Mom, I want a divorce. A few seconds of silence on the other end. Divorce? What nonsense are you talking about? Daniel is such a good kid, he's so good to you, and your relationship has always been great. Is this about Stella? Daniel said she's gay, don't overthink it. Just as I expected, he had already gotten to everyone, feeding them his version of the story. Mom, have you ever seen a gay person sitting on someone else's husband's lap in a camisole in the middle of the night? What did you say? I told my mom everything I had seen last night, exactly as it happened. This time, the silence on the other end lasted even longer. Maybe she really just had too much to drink? My mom's voice was clearly lacking conviction. Mom, I cut her off, I've made up my mind. But, you've been together for 10 years. Precisely. Because it's been 10 years, I can't keep making the same mistake. I hung up and turned off my phone. I needed to calmly think about what to do next. First, find a lawyer. Second, move out. Finally, start over. Easier said than done, every step would be difficult. But it was better than continuing to deceive myself. I thought of my best friend Sarah, she was a lawyer specializing in family law. Using the hotel phone, I called her. After listening to my story, she was silent for a while. Chloe, are you sure you want a divorce? Won't you reconsider? I'm sure. All right, come to my law firm this afternoon, and we'll talk in detail. Regarding assets, was the house acquired before or after the marriage? Are there other joint assets? If he doesn't agree to the divorce, you'll need to prepare for a long battle. Hanging up the phone, I suddenly felt incredibly tired. Not physically, but mentally exhausted. So, ending a marriage involved so many practical considerations. So, when love reached its end, all that was left were trivialities. At noon, I forced myself to eat something. Just as I was about to leave for Sarah's law firm, there was a knock on my door. Ma'am, a Mr. Daniel is waiting for you in the lobby, he says he's your husband. I knew he would find me. Tell him I don't want to see him. But ma'am, Mr. Daniel says if you don't come down, he'll call the police. I scoffed. Call the police? For what? To report that his wife ran away after seeing him cheat. Forget it, I'd have to face him eventually. I'll go down. In the hotel lobby, Daniel sat on the sofa, looking like he hadn't slept all night, dark circles under his eyes. Seeing me, he immediately stood up and strode over, wanting to embrace me. I stepped back, looking at him coldly. Honey, you finally agreed to see me. His voice was hoarse. What happened last night was a complete misunderstanding. Stella had too much to drink and insisted on talking to me. She recently broke up with someone, she was upset, so I just talked with her for a bit. Who knew she'd get like that when she drank? You know, she rarely drinks. I listened to him spin his lies, feeling nothing but ridiculous. Are you finished? He paused. Honey, believe me, I truly have no feelings for her. Then what about her feelings for you? I shot back. She's gay. Daniel, I looked him in the eyes. Do you truly believe she's gay? He avoided my gaze. What's there to doubt about that? Alright, since you trust her so much, let's get a divorce. What? He widened his eyes. You want a divorce just because of this misunderstanding? It's not a misunderstanding, it's a betrayal. I didn't betray you. He raised his voice, agitated, drawing the attention of those around us. I couldn't be bothered to argue with him here. Daniel, I've already hired a lawyer. Let your lawyer discuss the divorce with mine. With that, I turned to leave. He chased after me, grabbing my arm. Chloe, you can't do this. 10 years of our relationship, are you just giving up so easily? I'm not giving up, you gave up first. I shook off his hand and walked away without looking back. His roar echoed behind me. Chloe, you'll regret this. Regret? My only regret was not seeing his true colors sooner. Sarah's law firm was in an office building downtown. Seeing my state, she didn't say anything, just poured me a hot tea. Take your time, no rush. I recounted the entire incident in detail, including all of Stella's behavior over the past 3 months. Sarah listened, then said thoughtfully, she's probably a master schemer. She used her lesbian identity to lower your guard, but she was actually moving calculatedly, step by step. And your husband, his feigned ignorance to this extent is truly something else. I gave a bitter smile. Now I just want to get divorced as quickly as possible. The house was bought by you before the marriage, so that's not an issue. The savings accumulated during the marriage will need to be divided. The most troublesome part is, if he refuses the divorce, the court will most likely not grant it on the first filing. You need to be mentally prepared. I nodded. I understand. Also, Sarah looked at me, you should move out first to avoid direct confrontation. Keep all your evidence, including his chat records acknowledging Stella staying at your house. While there's no direct evidence of infidelity, these can prove his misconduct. Leaving the law firm, I followed Sarah's advice and went to look for an apartment. I didn't want to be too close to my old home, but not too far either, since my workplace was still here. After searching all afternoon, I finally found a studio apartment not far from my workplace. The landlord was a straightforward lady. Hearing I needed to move in quickly, she signed the contract on the spot. Girl, judging by your appearance, have you run into some trouble? I just smiled without answering. The lady sighed. I also got divorced when I was younger. I know it's not easy. But girl, if it's broken, break it clean, don't hesitate. Life is still long, who can't live without whom? Yes, who can't live without whom? Why should I continue to suffer for someone who betrayed me? On moving day, I specifically chose a time when Daniel would be at work. I thought I could avoid him, but unexpectedly, as soon as I opened the door, he was sitting in the living room. Took the day off, he said calmly, noticing my surprise. Stella wasn't there, he'd probably sent her away. I ignored him and went straight into the bedroom to pack my things. He followed me in. Are you really leaving? Yes. Can't you give me another chance? I stopped what I was doing and turned to look at him. Daniel, do you truly think that was just an accident? Do you really have no feelings for her at all? Do you truly believe she's gay? He didn't answer any of the 3 questions immediately. That silence spoke more delay than any excuse. I truly just saw her as a friend, he finally said with difficulty. A friend? I scoffed. What kind of friend sits on your lap dressed like that in the middle of the night? What kind of friend lets you look at her with those eyes? Daniel, you might fool me, but you can't fool yourself. His face darkened. Chloe, do you have to be so aggressive? I told you nothing happened. Just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't. Besides, in my eyes, what happened last night was already a betrayal. I continued packing, not wanting to waste any more words on him. He stood there, his fists clenched tight. You just don't believe me? I turned back, looking at him seriously. Daniel, it's not that I don't believe you, it's that you're not worth believing. From the moment you chose to hide things, chose to deceive, the trust already collapsed. We can't go back. After saying all this, I picked up my suitcase and walked out. Passing through the living room, I saw our wedding photo on the coffee table. In the picture, we were smiling so happily, so blissfully. The me from back then would never have imagined this would be our ending 5 years later. I didn't linger, walking straight out of the home I had lived in for 5 years. Behind me, I heard the sound of something shattering. Probably that photo frame. Let it break. The people inside it had long since become barely recognizable anyway. On my first night in the rental apartment, I slept exceptionally soundly. Gone was the oppressive atmosphere of that house, gone was Stella's subtle perfume scent, and gone was Daniel's fake concern. There was only me, breathing freely in this small studio apartment. The next day at work, my colleagues noticed a change in me. "Chloe, you look great today. Did you put on new makeup? You seem to glow." I just smiled without explaining. They didn't know I had simply shed a heavy burden. During my lunch break, Daniel came to my workplace to find me. He held a bouquet of roses, my favorite pink. "Honey, I'm here to take you to lunch." My colleagues around us were watching, whispering. In their eyes, Daniel had always been a model husband, often picking me up from work, never missing a holiday. I looked at him calmly. "Daniel, please don't come to my workplace anymore." "Honey, I'm not your wife anymore. My lawyer will contact you regarding the divorce papers." With that, I turned and walked away. The murmurs of my colleagues drifted behind me, but I no longer cared. That afternoon, Sarah told me Daniel refused to sign the divorce papers. "He said he would never divorce you, and you should give up that idea. He also said you're just acting on impulse and will come back once you calm down." I scoffed. "Then let's file a lawsuit." "Are you sure?" Sarah confirmed again. "If you file, the process will be grueling." "I'm sure. If he wanted to drag it out, then I'd see him in court." I had plenty of time to wear him down. News of the lawsuit quickly spread. The first to lose their composure were both our parents. My mom called me every few days, urging me to reconsider. "Chloe, Daniel's mother even pleaded on her knees, begging me to talk some sense into you. After a deep bond forged over years of marriage, do you really want to end your 10-year relationship like this?" "Mom," I interrupted her, "if Dad was secretly embracing another woman behind your back, would you forgive him?" Silence on the other end of the line. After a long pause, my mom sighed, "If your dad dared to, I'd break his legs." "Then why are you telling me to forgive?" "I just don't want you to regret it later." "My only regret will be not leaving sooner." Daniel's parents were even more persistent. They found my rental apartment and wailed dramatically at the door. "Chloe, our Daniel truly knows he was wrong. He's lost his appetite and sleep these past few days, he's lost weight. Just for our sake as his parents, please give him another chance." "See," I said through the door, "Uncle and Aunt, I understand how you feel. But there's no turning back from this, please go home." "Chloe, how can you be so heartless?" Mrs. Eleanor started to throw a fit. "What has our Daniel ever done to wrong you? The house is yours, you drive the car, and his payroll card is in your hands. He's been so good to you, and you want a divorce over a misunderstanding?" I opened the door and looked at them coldly. "Aunt, everything you mentioned, those are things a husband should do, aren't they? Besides, the payroll card hasn't been with me for a while. Ever since Stella moved in, he started asking for it back with various excuses." Mrs. Eleanor paused, clearly unaware of this. "And," I continued, "this isn't a misunderstanding, it's a betrayal. If you believe your son did nothing wrong, then let the courthouse decide." With that, I closed the door. Outside, Mrs. Eleanor was still screaming, calling me heartless and ungrateful. I put on my headphones. If I couldn't hear it, it wouldn't bother me. At the first court hearing, Daniel brought a lawyer. He wore a suit, looked thinner than the last time I saw him, and the dark circles under his eyes were more prominent. When he saw me, his gaze was complex. There was guilt, reluctance, but mostly resentment. His lawyer argued that I had no evidence of his infidelity and demanded the divorce petition be dismissed. Sarah, unhurried, presented a series of evidence. This included Stella's timeline of residence, Daniel's chat records admitting Stella was staying in our home, and the photos I took of the home office that night. Yes, I had taken photos. In the moment I backed away from the home office, I used my phone to capture that scene. Not to keep evidence, but just to get an answer. To know what all my years of dedication truly amounted to. The judge's brow furrowed as he looked at the photos. Daniel's lawyer immediately argued, "This is merely normal interaction between friends." "Normal interaction?" Sarah scoffed. "What normal friend sits on a married man's lap at 2 in the morning, wearing revealing sleepwear? Furthermore, to our knowledge, Miss Stella is not gay. Her so-called girlfriend was merely an actress she hired." Daniel abruptly looked up, staring at Sarah in disbelief. Sarah produced an investigation report. "These are the findings of a private investigator. Stella's real name is Yujia, and she arrived in this city from Chicago 3 months ago. Her target was very clear, Mr. Daniel. As for the reason," Sarah glanced at Daniel, "Mr. Daniel should know perfectly well." A stir went through the courtroom. I was also stunned. I hadn't expected Sarah to investigate so thoroughly. Daniel's face turned ashen, his lips trembling, but he couldn't utter a word. After the hearing, Daniel chased me out, grabbing my arm. "Chloe, I truly didn't know she was faking it. I swear, I honestly thought she was gay. I shook off his hand. Daniel, how long are you going to keep up this act? Do you dare say you didn't feel anything for her? Do you dare say nothing happened between you two that night? He avoided my gaze. We really didn't do anything. But, he struggled to say, I admit, I had some inappropriate thoughts about her. But I controlled myself because I thought she was gay. I scoffed. So, if she weren't gay, you would have cheated? He was speechless. Daniel, thank you for showing me your true colors. It turns out your loyalty to me was just because you never had the opportunity to betray. With that, I left without looking back. His voice echoed behind me, Chloe, I was wrong. Please give me another chance. I promise, I swear, I'll never do it again. But some things, once broken, can never be put back together. Like our marriage, like my trust in him. That evening, Sarah took me out for dinner. I hope you don't mind about the investigation. I just thought Stella's appearance was too coincidental. ISH. Okay, my head. Thank you for letting me know the truth. Actually, the truth isn't what's important anymore, Sarah said. What matters is that you've decided to leave. Today's court hearing went well. The judge clearly leaned towards granting the divorce. At most one more hearing, and the divorce will be final. I nodded, but my heart didn't feel the lightness I had anticipated. 10 years. From 18 to 28, I had given him the best years of my life. To start over now, it would be a lie to say I wasn't lost. But it was better than continuing to struggle in the mud. Before the second court hearing, something unexpected happened. Stella came to see me. She met me at a coffee shop, no longer in her previously innocent attire. Her wavy long hair was elegantly swept up, she wore sophisticated makeup, and a business suit. She was a completely different person. Miss Chloe, she said, elegantly stirring her coffee, I'm here to apologize. I looked at her coldly. Apologize? Isn't it a bit late for that? She gave a bitter smile. I know, but I still wanted to tell you I'm sorry. The truth is, I approached Daniel with a purpose from the beginning. He probably doesn't remember, but 5 years ago, when he first joined the workplace, I was his colleague. Back then, I had a crush on him, but he only had eyes for you. Later, I quit and moved to Chicago, thinking I could forget him. But, she chuckled self-deprecatingly, some people, once you've met them, you can never forget. I listened quietly, not interrupting. 3 months ago, I saw his updates on social media and found out where you two lived. So I got an idea, I wanted to try. The gay identity was something I specifically designed, including hiring someone to pretend to be my girlfriend. I knew that only this way would you lower your guard, and he would accept me. That night, she paused, I was indeed intentional. I had some drinks, but I wasn't drunk. I just wanted to see if he would push me away. And the result? You saw it. I picked up my coffee and took a sip, the bitter taste spreading in my mouth. What are you trying to say? I want to say, she looked at me, this man isn't worth it. If he truly loved you, he wouldn't give anyone a chance. Including me. With that, she stood up. Ms. Chloe, I'm truly sorry. I will leave this city and won't appear before you again. I hope you find someone truly worthy. After she left, I sat in the coffee shop for a long time. The truth, it turned out, was even more ironic than I had imagined. A scheming woman, a wavering man. And I was just the dumbest spectator in this play. At the second court hearing, Daniel didn't fight anymore. He agreed to the divorce. His hand trembled as he signed. Chloe, is there really no chance for us? I looked at him calmly. No. Stella is gone, she admitted. She deliberately approached me. I really was fooled by her, believe me. Daniel, I called his name one last time, this isn't her fault, it's yours. If your heart hadn't wavered, it wouldn't have mattered what identity she used to appear. You were the one who first betrayed our marriage, who betrayed my trust. He lowered his head, tears dripping onto the divorce papers. I'm sorry. That apology came too late. When I walked out of the courthouse, the sunlight was blinding. I took a deep breath, feeling entirely relieved. Free. Finally free. Sarah accompanied me to City Hall to finalize the divorce decree. 2 red booklets became 2 green booklets. 10 years of a relationship, 5 years of marriage, had finally come to an end. I'm buying you a drink tonight, Sarah said. I shook my head. No, I just want to be alone. Back in my rental apartment, I looked at myself in the mirror. 28 years old, not old at all, with plenty of time to start over. That night, I cut my hair. From waist length to a chic bob cut. The hairdresser asked me, are you sure you want to cut it? You've been growing it for years, haven't you? I'm sure. Snip, and the old me floated to the ground with my locks of hair. In the mirror, there was a brand new Chloe. Life after the divorce was calmer than I'd imagined. The sky hadn't fallen, and I wasn't unable to live. Instead, there was an unprecedented sense of ease. I began to focus intensely on my career, pouring all the energy I once diverted to my family into my work. 3 months later, I got a promotion. From a regular designer to design director, my salary doubled. I moved out of the studio apartment and into a 2-bedroom apartment with an open view. I started working out, taking art classes, and doing things I'd always wanted to but never had time for. Occasionally, I would hear news about Daniel from mutual friends. They said he had lost a lot of weight, had started drinking heavily, and was consumed by regret. They also said he had tried to find Stella, but she had truly vanished. As I listened, my heart remained calm. That was his life now, and it had nothing to do with me. Until one late night, I received a call from an unknown number. It was the hospital. "May I speak with Ms. Chloe?" "Yes, this is Chloe. Mr. Daniel was in a car accident and is currently in the emergency room. You are listed as his emergency contact on his phone." I was silent for a few seconds. "I'm his ex-wife, we're divorced." "Oh," the nurse paused, then. "What do you think? Please contact his parents, I'll text you their number now." After hanging up, I still went to the hospital. It wasn't because I still had feelings, but simply to gain closure. Daniel lay in the hospital bed, pale, his forehead wrapped in bandages. Seeing me, his eyes brightened slightly. "Chloe, you came. I came to tell you to change your emergency contact for the future." His gaze dimmed. "I'm sorry, I just wanted to see you one more time, even if it had to be like this." I looked at him, this man I had once deeply loved. Now, he seemed nothing more than a stranger. "Daniel, let yourself go. I've moved on, and you should look forward too. We're both still young, and we both have our own lives to live. Take care of yourself, and don't do anything foolish again." With that, I turned and walked away. Behind me, his heartbroken sobs echoed. "Chloe, I really was wrong. Please give me another chance. I promise, I swear, I'll never do it again." I didn't look back. Some paths can only be walked forward. Some people must remain in the past.